welcome back to another video, and we're back with another POV video because why not? I love doing these kinds of videos, and so far no one's told me they suck yet, so I'm actually going to roll these windows up because of the wind noise. But today's video is going to be a fun one for me, and I get to talk to you guys about what all you guys relate to this video. You guys can guess by the title. Today we're talking about my top 5 dream cars. And pretty much the point of this video is I wanted to start a discussion over what everyone's background was with their cars, whether it was they are domestic kids through and through, they're JDM kids through and through, they're Euro guys, they're exotic people. You know, that's the fun part of this video, is we get to learn as a community about each other. So I was like, why not? We're going to talk about each other's dream cars. So I'm going to start off with my honorable mentions. I've got 2. So my honorable mentions are the Bug-Eye STI and the 1314 GT500. Now, why are these 2 my honorable mentions? The Bug-Eye, to me, my number 5, my bottom one is exactly why the Bug-Eye's out, and because the Bug-Eye is my second favorite generation of STI. A lot of you guys know I'm believe it or not, I grew up in a mostly JDM environment. Despite the fact that I love domestics, my dream cars are majority domestic. I still love my Japanese cars through and through, and that's why the STIs even made it in the honorable mentions, let alone there is one on the list. The Bug-Eye is just my second favorite generation, and I love it to death, and they sound fantastic, they look good to me. And the 1314 GT500 is because it's outshadowed by a lot of other Mustangs to me, and I know the 1314 is a fantastic car, but to me the bent rods and all that stuff really don't help its case. So I'm actually going to pause for a second while making this turn. Alrighty, so yeah, the 1314 GT500 to me is just outshadowed by a lot of other cars on my dream car list, which is why it's not up there. I don't hate the GT500 at all. I love the 1314. It's my favorite GT500 out of the list. Even though the 0709 is another one that's a really good one. And that one's also, I guess, an honorable mention as well. But there's a specific Mustang in particular that dominates this list. And a lot of you guys know me already, know exactly what Mustang I'm going to be talking about. I love Mustangs, so it's my favorite domestic car, so there's going to be a couple on this list. So I guess let's start from the main list. So at the bottom, at number 5, is the GC8 WRX STI. So that's like I said, the STI was going to make it into this video, and the Bug-Eye is an honorable mention just because I love the GC8 so much. And you guys don't even know how much I love that car. When I grew up playing Gran Turismo 3, it was probably one of the first cars I would buy alongside the Bug-Eye. It was just so fun, and they sound fantastic, and to me, they're awesome. And to my knowledge, they are the only version of the Impreza to be offered in a coupe. I love coupes to death. I'm not a big sedan guy, so I love that idea. And the GC8 is just so cool to me. There's tons of them around here. What's annoying is I want one for a project car, and I can't find one anywhere. I'm more likely to find a Bug-Eye than I am a GC8, which is fine, because again, I love the Bug-Eye too. But the GC8 is like my favorite generation of Subaru. And I think in third, I think a good solid third would be the Hawkeye, but that's not on this list. But yeah, number 5 is the GC8 WRX STI. Love those things to death. And while of course I'm a bit of an Evo guy more than I'm a Subaru guy, the Evo 9 is still superior to me. But I love the GC8 so much, and I hope to own one day because it is my favorite Subaru. So moving on to number 4, and well, we're gonna bring up the Evo 9. And growing up, my dad and I argued for years over the Evo and the Subarus. My dad loves the Subarus, and I loved the Evos. Well, my dad, I could say, was a little bit more in the middle, kind of like I am now. But back then, it was like Evos or nothing when it came to the Japanese sedans. And now, of course, I'm a lot more open-minded. I love the GC8 and the Bug-Eye, like I said. But the Evo 9 just holds a special place in my heart, I guess, because we never got the Evo 7, I believe it was. Like what was in Too Fast, Too Furious in the States, and that was like my first taste of the Evo. The Evo 5 and 6 are still like 2 of my other favorites. Again, those would also have been in the honorables mention section of this video if I'd really wanted to extend it and taken up 30 minutes of y'all's time. But The 9 just has a special place in my heart, for sure. And yeah, I mean, it's just a great car. So, number 3, this one's going to be an interesting one. A lot of you guys never actually thought about me knowing about and loving to death. There's not a lot of Euro cars I like, and this is one of them. That is the E60 BMW M5 with the V10. Because the M5, to me, is just this weird car when it comes to performance sedans. It's like, I don't know what to call it. Is it a performance sedan or is it a luxury sedan? And either way, it fits both markets perfectly. I mean, with the E60 in particular, the reason I love the E60 is not because of how it looks. It looks good, but I think the newer generation looks better. But the E60 has the coolest engine to ever be put into a sedan, I think, in the world, and that is that V10 they put in the E60s. What made it even better is they offered it in a stick, which is just so cool to me. I mean, I obviously drive an automatic, but I love stick-shift cars more than automatics. And it's like so cool to me to have it all. Comfort, power, and drivability, just enthusiast level drivability. And the M5 to me is just amazing of a car. The only problem is E60 M5s are so expensive nowadays, it's so hard to ever find one to buy. And I had my chance about a year or two ago when I first started at Georgia Highlands. I planned on selling this truck. My parents weren't trusting it anymore, and they were like, hey, if you're ready, we can make the move to a new car. And one of the first cars that came to mind, and my parents even approved it. All I would have had to do was get a job earlier than I did, and I could have an E60 M5. I was so just like ready to go. I was like, yes, I'm gonna do that. That's worth it. Because all of you guys know I have ASD, so getting a job was like a little bit more difficult for me because I'm very picky. I'm not a people person, believe it or not. A lot of people are like shocked at how open I actually am. I'm actually really shy. In person, a lot of you guys who met me in person, I've seen that firsthand. I'm a pretty shy person. So I had the chance to get an E60 M5. But in the long run, my parents decided to go and keep their trust with the truck, and I don't blame them. And the reason I'm like talking about my parents so much is, again, well, if you guys watched the mental health video, this is titled in my parents' name because I was 16 when we bought it, and they won't transfer the title to my name just because they don't want to go through the hassle of it. And plus, being 17, almost 18 at the time, I think I was 18, they would have had to be a co-signer for the car. So obviously, that was really their mercy there. So number 2, and this is the one that everyone saw coming, if you guys knew me at all, the 2003-2004 Mustang SVT Cobra. And why is it not my number 1? You'll see why in a moment, but this is what I like to refer to as the attainable dream car. The car that, you know, I could actually see myself buying one day, and I would gladly do it in a heartbeat. I search all the time on like Car Gurus and Auto Tempest, sites like that, just out of curiosity what the market value is going for the Terminator. And you can buy a Terminator for 20 grand. So while that's a lot for a 2003-2004 Mustang, when you can get a GT for 2.5 grand, 3.5 grand, to me it's worth it because, for one thing, you never see Cobras with more than 100,000 miles. It's just not something you see on the internet anymore. Most Cobras are garage kept, barely ever driven, and I don't know, it's just something about the Terminator. I like it a lot more than the modern Coyote chassis. I love the Coyote and all, but it's just its reputation of the community is what keeps me out of them. And there's just so many of them now. I mean, if you go on YouTube, YouTube is full of Coyote platform Mustangs, S197s, S550s. There's not a lot of Terminator YouTubers anymore. I mean, Mustang Lifestyle was one of my favorite YouTubers for that alone. That he was the last of a dying breed of Cobra YouTubers. And now there's like, I think Alex SVT and a couple more, and that's it. And you know, it's just, there's not a lot of Cobras left out there that are being driven for YouTube. And yeah, that's not the big deal. I just love the Cobra in general. Comp orange is still my favorite color to ever come on a Mustang. And you know, it's just, I don't know, the Cobra's just got a special place in my heart, and it always will, and I would love to own one day. And the sound of the Eden blower, the sound of just the 4-valve itself, just such an amazing sounding car. So that brings me to my number 1, and a lot of you guys who know me well, who know me personally, have heard me talk about this car for months on end, and that is the Mark IV Toyota Supra. I love this car to death. It is still the ultimate dream car, and it used to trade blows a lot with the Terminator. I used to have a hard time deciding between the Terminator and the Mark IV because I love them both so much. They're both such amazing cars and amazing platforms to work with. And quite frankly, I would love to own either one. Heck, my dream garage is just to have both. You know, Terminator and a Mark IV. But the Mark IV, yada yada yada, typical story, Fast and Furious, it got me interested in the car, and then I got older and researched it a lot more and learned about the 2JZ and how amazing of an engine it actually is. And despite it being a bit heavy, it's still just a fantastic engine. I mean, it's overbuilt to the extremes, and you know, I just, gosh, that car just looks fantastic. I would take it over any modern car you could throw at me. You could throw me a brand new Dodge Demon or a brand new, you know, GT500, and I would still buy the Supra before it. And I love, like I said, I love Mustangs, and the new GT500 is nice and all, but I don't know, there's just something about the Supra that makes me decide a 90s Toyota over a Mustang, a brand new Mustang. That might not make sense to a lot of people, but it's just that car holds a special place in my heart, and you know, it and the Cobra are both kind of like the big dogs. So I guess we'll close out with a couple more honorable mentions, because some of you guys are probably like, well, what about all these other cars you've liked that you talked about before? Okay, C7 ZR1. Again, it's a good car. I don't know, oh, there's another one that just went by, the Lightning. I'll talk about that in a second. The ZR1 is just so cool. I love, believe it or not, I am actually not a diehard Blue Oval worshiper. I actually do have tastes for other American brands, mainly with Chevy. I do love the Camaro and the Corvette. They're both really cool cars to me. I have nothing against either one of them. So personally, the C7 ZR1 is one of my favorite cars to ever exist. And it is definitely something I would love to buy one day if I ever got the money. So, yeah, the C7 ZR1. Hey, GSP, what's up? He's been like creeping up real slow. I thought he was like checking out my new decals in the back of the truck my mom made me for caffeine and octane. But there's that. The C7 ZR1 is just really cool. The 6th Gen Camaro ZL1 1LE is another one in that regard. I love that car to death, and they are just so cool. I've sat in a 6th Gen ZL1, and it's kind of what made me like the 6th Gen even more. I already loved the 6th Gen as it was, but the ZL1 1LE is kind of like where it all took off. And for me, I just love that car to death, and I would love to own one. It was a 911 that just went by, old 911. That would be on my list if I liked Porsche just a little more. So, I guess to close the last of my honorable mentions, that would be the F-150 SVT Lightning. For some reason, the Lightning, it just always has my attention, and it's been my dream truck my entire life. This truck was taking a lot of inspiration from that. My original goal for this thing was just to build like a mini Lightning, a 4-door Lightning, and I mean, it's just that kind of truck to me. I love the Lightning to death. And yeah, I think that's everything. So I hope you guys enjoyed this video. What are your guys' dream cars? Your top 5 dream cars? Let me know in the comments below. Like I said, the whole point of this video is just to start a discussion and see what kind of demographic my viewers were. See what kind of cars you all enjoyed. Thank you guys for 580 subscribers. We're getting close to 600, guys. Leave me some ideas in the comments as well for what you guys want me to do for 600 subscribers. How you guys want me to celebrate. So like I said, guys, I hope you guys enjoyed, and I will see you guys next time. Take it easy. Have an awesome day. Dang it, I sound like that dude in blue again. Have a good day, guys. See you guys later.
My mind is breathing in. Break out, I've got to see. Spent all my life holding all of it closely. I played it innocent, a feel of discontent. I'm finally facing it all, fearless.